Donne's love poetry. Paragraph number 1. Introduction. Background. The vigor and variety with which Donne wrote his love lyrics made him unique in the realm of English literature. His love poetry brought a volcanic eruption in the English Parnassus, reshaping features of its conventional. Prior to Donne, Petrarch was emulated as a model in love poetry. In the Petrarchan tradition, the beloved was regarded as a superior being of angelic purity, described with utmost reverence and deemed almost a deity. Shakespeare called her the 10th muse. She was always praised in hyperbolic expressions and usually perceived as a paragon of beauty compared with Venus and Aphrodite. The lover was expected to approach the lady in a very submissive manner. Her chastity was a virtue which was to be honored at any cost. Her existence was a source of moral inspiration for the lover who had his thoughts away from carnal desires. Sidney and Spenser are the best examples of this type of poetry. Paragraph number 2. Petrarchan influence. In spite of Donne's iconoclastic views about the whole love affair, Petrarchan influence is perceptible in some of his poems. His beloved's unparalleled beauty is expressed in The Sun Rising. In the dream, she is imagined to be a deity because of her prophetic powers. In the apparition, it is maintained that the lover will continue to worship his ladylove even after his death. All these examples show an impact of Petrarch on Donne. Paragraph number 3. Donne's distinction. But Donne's distinction as a love poet is perceived in the fact that he mainly violated the Petrarchan traditions of love poetry. Instead of being idealist like Petrarch, Donne chose to be a realist. In his poetry, we hardly come across the stereotypes of the past, the bleeding hearts, rosy cheeks, delicate lips, ruby teeth, eyes bestowed with tears, etc. The beloved is sometimes treated as a loony with no glamour at all. Donne, being a realist, tries to portray the whole gamut of sensation in the experience of love. It is this very quality which makes Donne universal in approach. Experience ranges from its lowest depths to its highest peaks. There is hardly any aspect of love between man and woman which has not been described in his love poems. Paragraph number 4. Cynicism. Cynicism is the most important aspect of Donne's poetry. In the Air and Angels, Donne implies the woman's inferiority in not taking the initiatives in love affairs. Man loves unprompted, whereas she loves in response to that of man's. In the woman's constancy, she is dismissed as a hypocritical being because she does not keep her promise. In the apparition, she is exposed relentlessly as too much lusty. Paragraph number 5. Platonic love ideas. Some of Donne's love poems have been written in the Platonic ideas of love. In The Anniversary, a spiritual love is given more prominence as compared to its physical aspects. Though the lovers are subject to death, their spiritual love is immune from any form of disintegration. In Relic, lovers share complete platonic love of souls. Similarly, in Ecstasy, the souls of the lovers are fused in the white heat of spiritual love. What moves the lovers is not the idea of sensual or sensuous pleasures, but the elevation of the souls. At the same time, Donne does not ignore the physical aspects of love altogether. In his view, it is a step towards spiritual union of the lovers. Paragraph number 6. Importance of body in love. In establishing the importance of body in love and recognizing love as an instinctive passion which knows no social restrictions, Donne is definitely a revolutionary. The initiatives taken by Donne in this perspective were brought to culmination by D. H. Lawrence in the 20th century. Paragraph number 7. Conjugal love. Another quality of Donne's love poetry is the depiction of conjugal love. Most of the valedictory poems seem to have been addressed to his wife on the eve of some timely separation. In these poems, he is trying to convince his wife about the futility of shedding tears on such occasions. In his own way, he says that it is the sensual love that cannot remain constant at the parting. A true love is undoubtedly above these manifestations. Paragraph number 8. Sensual delight. Some of Donne's poems are clearly imbued with sensual delight of the lovers. In The Sun Rising, the lovers are completely engrossed in their love-making. In The Dream, the lover's half-abandoned dream is accomplished in the warmth of his beloved's embrace. In The Ecstasy, the lovers are sitting very close to each other and a fragrance is coming out of their hands firmly held together. Paragraph number 9. Wit. Another salient feature of Donne's love poetry is that it is wholly pervaded with wit. The most obvious example of it is the flea in which Donne ridicules his beloved's plea for not making love with him openly. Similarly, all the poems have a dramatic element. They are marked with a casual and conversational tone in them. Donne seems to be talking, arguing, snapping, scolding, explaining, and persuading in the most logical way. However, his logic is typically metaphorical in nature, which ordinary people find it hard to follow in many cases. Paragraph number 10. No philosophy. Yet another feature of Donne's love poetry is that it is not inspired by any teaching or preaching behind it. It just records the feeling of a lover in his lovemaking. In this, he does not shy away from mentioning anything. Shelley made love the guiding principle of all human institutions. But Donne's love is quite different from that of Shelley. Donne does not associate any philosophy with it. It is just a love between two human beings with all its sensations, experiences, passions, and reactions. Paragraph number 11. Conclusion. All these examples clearly show that Donne made a significant contribution to the English poetry because of his realistic approach to this fundamental aspect of human life. His treatment of love themes is quite unique, which earned him the title of a metaphysical poet in its typical sense of the term. Although his peculiar style was not appreciated by many critics, the revival nevertheless came on in the 20th century due to many common grounds between the two ages. Donne, however, will be remembered in the English literature because of his frank expression of love in lovemaking. Thank you. Thank you.